Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Welcome back. As I have done after each break, I will just do a few reminders. You will find in the event of emergency, we can exit out of this door or this door and assemble by the playground. Please stay there until such times as the building is cleared and safe. A reminder that we are all here to approach these hearings with an open mind, and we are to take into account all written and oral submissions when it comes time to deliberate. We are here to listen to submitters and can ask questions to clarify or to get submitters to elaborate on particular points in these submissions. But these hearings are not an opportunity for us to comment on submissions, engage in debate, or offer solutions. And importantly, we must not indicate support or otherwise to any submission. We've got anyone online. Can I ask you to please turn off your camera and mute your microphone until it is your time to speak. Each submitter will have 5 minutes to present to members, and we suggest using the first 3 or 4 minutes for presentation and 1 to 2 minutes for questions from councillors. You can take your written submissions as read and use this time to add further detail or information as you see fit. So with that being said, Amy, are you going to read Kim, please?
Kim, see it.
Oh, Kim's here. So, but now she's
Nice, well,
well, there you go.
Right.
I was like,
Maybe.
Sure, Kim.
just before you start, Kim's submission is number 193, online packet 6, page 2028, or speaker pack submission number 50. You're ready, please.
I did write a submission, but I basically kind of threw that out. So I'll just kind of speak off the cuff. I live at Ngawi. I whakapapa Cape Palliser. I love the place. It's a special place. I work there as well. I suppose I've been very disappointed in the way that this has turned into a sort of social media, news media sort of shit fight, really. And I think we need to have some common sense and try to find a solution that works for everybody. My earliest memories are going down the track, past the lighthouse, to the waterfall, to the stone wall. My great-grandfathers used to take us there, grandfather, and it is a very special place. I do acknowledge that there has been damage, you know, from off-road vehicles and some people being on the private land. But it's very hard to know where that track was, you know, like, unless you see the paper road map up on a wall, people don't know the boundaries. There's no fencing. There's nowhere to, we've all just driven on what has possibly been made going back many years, the same track. And for a community, we love that area. That area is so special to all of us. And so I would hate for access to be stopped. I'm not getting any younger. I'm not that physically fit. I take my little grandsons around to the waterfall to have a swim in summer. If I've got to cart them and all the, you know, if I had to cart them there walking and one of them tripped over or something like that, to run all the way back, for me personally would be a nightmare. What I would like to see happen is we have an amazing community out there, and when things go wrong, everyone pulls in together and helps. A few years ago, I did email Hummy and say, you know, can we all get together and let's get the community together. Let's try to find a way to help each other. And so there is a local out there now that has already jacked up possibly 7 to 8 contractors, volunteers, ready to go, ready to fence, ready to fix. We don't want a state highway through there. Like, you don't want every Tom, Dick, and, you know, well, I shouldn't really say that, should I? But I don't think you're going to get that anyway, because it is a long way from nowhere. Like I can sit out in my place most of the week and there's not many people go through. But I also think it's the locals that do tend to really respect that area and let the landowners know if there is something wrong, you know. So if there's no one going around there, but I feel that it could be fenced. We can fence it. We don't expect all the landowners to come to the, I think if we help each other, gosh, we can raise some funds. Let's, raise some funds for the fencing, get the contractors in, fill up the ruts, fix the, certain points. You're always still going to have to go around with a 4-wheel drive. Like I take a side by side when I go around there. But I also think that the signage, there hasn't been consequences. There hasn't been decent signs around there saying, hey guys, this, you're not to really go off this track. And let's face it, the fires that have happened, oh man, there's people that light fires all along Cape Palliser Road, not just past the lighthouse. They light fires when there's total fire bans. They do shit to people's. So the whole place is a great place. Like the whole road has got significance. That's about all really.
You've done very well.
Right.
So yeah.
About 20 seconds, Kate. So if you've got a very quick question.
What do you feel about the aspect that paper road disappears into the sea in some places? So have risen to go to, okay.
So whereabouts does it disappear?
Well,
Does it come back in on the boundary? Can you?
no,
That's what I mean. There's no boundary. There's no.
Apparently it's eroded, not there, and then it's back up on the Atlantic.
So that's where it's eroded.
Sure.
So someone surveyed that and been and figured it out. So you can't just cut in. You can't just cut it in here.
For the land.
But
Yeah, I think we're probably asking Kim a bit more than she can.
yeah. I say the track's been there and if that little bit's been private land, well, I just thank the landowners for letting us as use that area to get to our special place. But yeah.
Thank you very much, Kim. Thank you for your papers. Thank you. Thank you. And your
Thanks, Kim.
submissions will form part of our deliberations as we go.
Oh,
So we have Mihirangi with us on live. Mihirangi, I am facing away from you so that you can hear me through the microphone. I don't intend to be rude to you. Councillors, Mihirangi's submission is number 3539. It is email submission page 4564 or speaker pack number 51. So Mihirangi, you have 5 minutes to speak to us today, and we do encourage you to leave us 1 or 2 minutes at the end of your presentation for questions of clarification. Amy will give you a wave at about minute 4, and that's just to indicate that you're coming to the end of your time, and your time starts when you are ready.
Nō reira, tēnei te mihi atu ki a koutou kua rauika, ki raro I te tuanui o taua whare, ki roto I te paitu mokai. Anei, hau e hono mai ki te taho o koutou Ipurangi nei, tēnei te mihi ki a koe mō tēnei tūmomo āhuatanga. Tini whetū ki te rangiporangi tāne ki te whenua, e mihi kauana taku maunga o rangi tūmau, ki taku moana o te karu o te ika. Nō reira, tēnā rā tātou katoa. Kia ora everybody. Firstly, I want to acknowledge the South Wairarapa District Council for its proactive approach to consulting on this proposed bylaw. It's encouraging to see local government taking tangata whenua voices seriously and creating space for us to be part of shaping decisions that affect our whenua and our people. At the heart of Rangitani o Wairarapa Inc.'s submission is the recognition of mana motuhake and tino rangatiratanga. We stand in full support of Ngāti Hine Waka in exercising their rangatiratanga over the coastal area. Their decision to prioritise the protection of papatū ānuku and the safety of people is not only wise but necessary. Our own taiao position emphasises tino rangatiratanga as a guiding principle, enabling our whānau and hapu to make decisions about our whenua, awa and wana for ourselves and for future generations. Furthermore, this proposal asks for a rest period of 3 years. From a tirohanga Māori, 3 years is a short moment in time and the longer horizon of our whakapapa. We believe our mokopuna will look back and see that this short pause was an act of foresight because we recognise that we must do everything we can for the continuation of our whakapapa. So this is a measured rest now, and then that will ensure that the whenua and all of us who connect to it in various ways can thrive well into the future. We also recognise that this is not iwi versus council, and it's not iwi versus the public. This is tangata whenua and council working together, taking on the shared responsibility of kaitiakitanga. As our submission noted, the area contains wāhi tapu, pā sites and ancestral places. These are not only treasures for us, but they're for the collective part of the heritage of the Wairarapa. So to care for them is to care for everybody's future. Some may feel that this bylaw is about taking something away, but in reality, it's about creating balance, tikanga. It's about ensuring that the rights of many are not spoiled by the careless actions of a few. It doesn't ban people from the coast, but it manages access to that fragile and vulnerable corridor. And it's guided by aroha and manaaki, not exclusion. We also remind the council that this approach is not new or radical. There are similar bylaws that are existing across the motu, like in Auckland and Marlborough, Kaikoura, New Plymouth and Tararua. What you're considering today is consistent with whakaaro across the country. Finally, I want to emphasise that this is not the end of the kōrero, obviously, this is but the beginning. We support the proposal as it stands, and we encourage the council to continue working closely with Ngāti Hine Waka and in monitoring those outcomes over the next 3 years. As we say, true solutions are those co-designed with Māori, not for Māori. That's how we pave a pathway forward. That is tika, that is sustainable, and that honours both tangata and the whenua. Nō reira, tēnei te mihi atu kia koutou katoa. Kia ora.
Very much, Mahirangi. We have time for a question. We'll start with Councillor Elams.
Thanks, Deputy Mayor. Kia ora, Mahirangi. I am looking at a submission that has come in from the Federated Mountain Clubs, and in that submission, there's mention here that when the Stonewall Scenic Reserve, or otherwise referred to as Ngāputiki Scenic Reserve, was created by DOC, there was a relationship management plan or management agreement between DOC and Rangitane. Are you aware of that? And it'll be, from my perspective, it would be great if we could view that and see what that plan was back.
We have an ongoing and existing relationship with DOC that is ever evolving. I can definitely check with our team to see if that piece of information is still in play or if it's been subsequently replaced.
That'd be great. Thank you very much. Go.
Any other questions for Mahirangi? No, thank you, Mahirangi, for your submission and your time. We will take both your paper and verbal submissions into account as we move through this process towards deliberations.
Mahine. If somebody would be able to send me that pārtai, then I can take it forward to my team to get the correct answer for you. Ka pai? Mahine. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Daniel Just, are you here? Owen Fox, you're with us online? you could turn on your camera and unmute your microphone, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, I've unmuted the microphone, but.
You
Oh,
have, we can hear you and we can see you. As I mentioned earlier, I'm not trying to be disrespectful
Yeah.
by having my back to you.
No,
It's
it's all right.
important
Can you
that
see me
hear.
or? Okay.
No.
We could, and now we can't. Councillors, Owen's submission is 1965.
Yeah, right. This submission, yeah. This submission is on behalf of the local tramping club up the Kapiti Coast. It's a club that has about 100 members, and they're all ages and ethnicities. We have been going around the coastal area for the last 50 years. And in fact, we've got one on the program for the coming this weekend. We expect to camp. We'll either camp just past the stone wall or up Mangatowi. It depends on the wind, the rain, and whether we need the hut or not, which is at Mangatowi rather than around the coast. We use it for walking access. We don't have any great interest in trailing over the land apart from, well, it's access to the park beyond the stone wall that we're interested in, and it's walking access. And I'd have to say I agree with the people that say that it takes very little work to define the legal road line and to allow people to walk along it. I did hear a comment that bits of the legal road have dropped in the sea, but it's still quite passable all the way to the Forest Park boundary. The bits that have fallen in the sea are actually around in White Rock Bay of the road line. And it's not clear from your map actually how far your bylaw goes around the coast. The map only covers the first part of the legal road line beyond the lighthouse. Looking at it, we're gravely concerned about the extent of the bylaw, especially as it goes on to prohibit pedestrian access. And we would think that that's stretching the law quite a bit, because what you're actually trying to do is close the road. And you're beyond the provisions of the Act that you're talking about. The coastline is the attraction and the area beyond the land. And we just don't buy the argument that there's big health and safety issues. If you look at the health and safety issues around there, they'd be less, I submit, than actually on the formed road that goes out to Narwi. And I don't see any serious proposal to protect the rest of us by closing that. And I quoted at length a bit of the tourist outfit for Wairarapa that I understand the council is a part member of, and they encapsulate why we should visit the Wairarapa, and it's to go and be active on the coast. And this proposal just completely locks us out. It's not, yeah, and it would lock out anyone that isn't in the local iwi, basically, which I think is a bit of a sad state of affairs. So, and then the other one that I think is I don't fail to see how you're going to enforce it. And I'd echo what the speaker a couple of before me said, that surely there is actually a simple solution of marking the route and stopping people straying without closing the road. So any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you very much, Owen. Members, do you have any questions for Owen? Councillor Maynard?
Kia ora, Owen. Thank you very much for that. I just wanted to check. So for yourself, one of the things that you, if I'm hearing you correctly, and please let me know if I'm not, a signage is actually quite a big thing. You think that that's possibly where things have gone wrong by not having enough understanding of where the roads are, or are you saying that?
No, I mean, as the speaker earlier said, basically people follow the formed track. Now, there are a couple of huge puddles right at the start, and they'll remain there as long as you have four-wheel drives going through with no gravel. But for foot access, well, we've all got decent GPSs now, so it's actually relatively easy to follow a legal road line on flat ground, which is what this is. But I think that your basic problem has come from there's never been any definition of where where the legal boundaries of the land surrounding it are and where the legal road line actually goes. Now, no offence to Hill or
Sorry,
St. Paul.
Owen. Sorry, Owen, I am going to stop you there. Your time has come to an end.
Yep.
But I think we're quite clear with what your position is and what you're suggesting. So thank you for that. Thank you for your time today and for being with us. And feel free, please, to stay with us and continue watching. We just ask that you turn off your microphone and your camera again, please.
Thank you, Anne.
Nadia, are you here? No, Nadia. Paul Johnson?
He's on.
Paul Johnson is online. Paul, could you please turn on your camera and turn on your microphone, please? Thank you, Paul. For members, Paul's submission is number 79, online packet 1, or speakers submission pack 61. Paul, I'm sorry, I'm not sure if you were with us earlier, but just for your benefit, you have 5 minutes to present to us today. And we do encourage you to spend about 4 minutes on your presentation to allow some time at the end for questions. And then we'll raise your hand at 4 minutes to let you know that you are coming to the end of your time. And your time starts when you are ready. Paul, could you perhaps try turning up the volume on your computer? We aren't able to hear you, but you are off mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Sorry about that.
Perfect.
Helps if you push the right buttons. I was saying I probably won't even need 4 minutes. But fundamentally, in addition to my submission, I just wanted to reinforce the point that I made, or one of the points that I made, that the paper road, it's a legal road, as no doubt many people have submitted previously. So there's a public right of access because of that, the same as any other legal road in the country. And the experience of around the country of where access is restricted or denied generally remains in place forever. So losing access, albeit the proposal is for temporary, or for this to be in place for a set period of time. Inevitably, if it were to be put in place, I believe it would remain in place forever. What I also wanted to add to the submission was that if the fundamental problem that we're trying to solve here is damage to the surrounding property, private property, then the onus essentially is on the landowners to restrict that access, as happens on all farmland around the country. Although I did hear one of the previous submitters talking about volunteers ready to pick up shovels and put fencing in place. So that would seem like the obvious solution to me, if indeed that is the only problem that we're really looking to solve here. That would then keep access open to the public and restrict vehicles in particular to the track. That's pretty much me. Happy to answer any questions.
Well, I'm sorry, just confirming, you are not in support of the bylaw as it is, but sorry, did I catch there at the end that you can see some space for potential restriction of vehicle access?
Well, in my original submission, I did say if that was the problem, then it could become a gated access, you know, with but that's my least preferred option, because it is a massive restriction. And you know, I'm a member of a four-wheel drive club where we do have access to other gated tracks around the region, and we get that access because we're responsible users of those tracks. But again, those tracks are not public roads, so that there is no legal public access to them. It's granted on a concessionary basis.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you for that clarification. So, any other questions? Councillor Maynard.
Yeah, kia ora, Paul. Thank you very much for that. I'm just wondering, is there, with the other gated areas that you use, is there a charge?
No.
No, so they're all so no charge to actually be able to access those different parts of private land.
Well, it's not private land on those tracks. It's a dock estate, and I don't believe there's any charge.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any final questions? Thank you very much for your time, Paul, both for your written submission and for your time today. Feel free to stay online and watch other presentations. We just ask that you mute yourself and turn off your camera, please.
Yes, certainly. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Dylan, I can see that you are online, so could you please turn on your camera and turn on your microphone. Councillors, Dylan's submission is 2063, online packet 6, for speakers pack 62.
Hello.
Sorry, Dylan. Can I just clarify, did you hear my earlier instructions about time and things like that? Or would you like
Yes.
Fantastic. You start when you are ready, please.
Tēnā koutou katoa. So I'll give a little bit of background and then sort of run through the sort of substance of my submission, although I won't talk to it verbatim. So my perspective on this one is as a recreational user. So I'm a cyclist, hiker, rock climber. I've been all around the country in different various recreational habitat, working with dockland, working with paper roads for access to get to public areas or easements as well. I'm also currently working at a council in a parks department, so I'm quite well aware of the legal ramifications and sort of the legal issues around access and paper roads and the desire for access. I was recently at the site about 3 weeks ago. I was cycling around the coast, and obviously if that access was closed off, as the bylaw recommends, I would have been doing that illegally. And we had the hiker here before. That was just by bicycle. And when I was there, as an anecdote, there was one other ute user. It was a Friday. It was about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, who got stuck. So obviously there are some issues with the use of the paper road, or what people perceive to be the paper road. In terms of the environmental damage, it's significant. I've definitely observed it myself over time, that this area of the coast has gotten worse and worse as things have been degraded quite significantly, as people find different routes, as four-wheel drivers just go off in any direction they want. They create significant degradation, but I haven't observed any degradation by other users like pedestrians, hiking, cycling. And obviously there's the cultural values as well, which are definitely degraded. But I think primarily those issues relate to four-wheel drive access and overuse, or sort of the non-formation of the road itself. In terms of those values, I think it's very highly valued. I mean, I'm learning more about the cultural values of that area. Obviously, it's very, very scenic. It's a route around the coast. So actually not all of the coast in the Greater Wellington region is protected by, like, there's a lot of what I call blue water titles, where because of historic reasons and the Queen's Chain not really existing, there are historic areas where you cannot get to the coast. So actually it's really important to have access around the coast and having a legal format to do that. This paper road is obviously forms part of that, as well as, esplanade reserves, which are all around the coast as well. In terms of cycling, hiking, obviously there's hunters access to get into that dock reserve. Obviously there's recreational users there, whether you're hiking or whether you're hunting. The other accesses that were proposed as part of this bylaw are actually worse. They take a lot longer. If you're just walking, they take sometimes days in terms of hiking routes. And also they have similar issues around they are on easements on private land, which obviously potentially if they are overused or used more often would have the same issues that you're seeing here. In terms of paper roads, obviously there is a paper road is still a road with all of the rights and responsibilities that come along with that. I think there are a couple of, there's some good points and there's some bad points in what was presented as part of the documents. One of them was the idea that there's been environmental degradation, which is obviously pretty clear and obvious. But another one was about like private use and enjoyment of land. Now, you wouldn't recommend closing off your road in a cul-de-sac because someone was looking in through your bedroom window. Like, that's just not how roads work. That's not how public spaces work. They are there for the public to use. And obviously, people still have private rights outside of that. I would also say that the enforcement is going to be difficult as well. I mean, you can currently enforce encroachment, right? So if someone's camping on the area outside of the paper road, they could call the police up and trespass them. Obviously, that hasn't been done, but that would be a similar issue with a bylaw. A bylaw doesn't change that situation. And so if there is encroachments or there is trespass into the private land on either side of that paper road, that would still be difficult to enforce, whether it's by bylaw or whether it's by the current laws that you currently have. I think there is a way around this in terms of access to the coast and along that paper road, and I think that is to restrict vehicles but not to restrict other recreational users who do limited to no damage. I tautoko what Mihirangi said earlier around having time for the land to rest, but I think because of those low impact uses like cycling and hiking and walking, those really don't do much if any damage. And I think there's also an opportunity as well to develop a path through that paper road. Now, obviously questions for fencing are very thorny, but I think, I mean, even if you had sort of a cycling or walking path through that paper road, it would be well used, and it would also mean that people wouldn't have to deviate without knowing where they're going. And obviously, I use a bicycle GPS computer, so I know exactly where it is, and obviously hikers have GPS, so they know where it is, but people will follow the path that is easiest, and so if you designate a path for people to use, they will use it, and they tend not to go off that path because it's difficult. And yeah, I'd welcome any questions you have from me.
You hit 5 minutes on the dot. Your timing was impeccable. So unfortunately, we do not have any time for questions, but we appreciate your submission and your time today. Dylan, thank you very much. As with everyone else, please, we welcome you staying online. We do just ask that you mute yourself again and turn off your camera. Moving into the 1:30 block, and I would hope that by all the lovely faces that we have in the crowd, that means we have lots of people here to speak to us in the 1:30. Thank you so much. Our first speaker in this block is Harmy. Harmy is speaking on behalf of two separate entities. So his first submission is submission 63 in the speaker's pack, and the second is 64, which you will note that you now have in the paper version in front of you, as unfortunately there's a zero with the one online, and that will be corrected for everybody else online as well. If you are looking for page numbers outside of the speaker's pack, it is 3254 and 678. Now, Harley, what do you need from us to?
I'm going to connect to Wi-Fi, or not the Wi-Fi, the Teams, but myself back up. Sorry, I was expecting a 1:30 start, but that's fine. I'm ready. So
Yeah.
That's right. I've put my mouse in the wrong place.
Same as me. That's me, myself. Can we just really quickly for clarification? So the first one is with regards to Takitaki Kupe Trust.
And nothing.
Okay, thank you.
You're in,
I'm there.
so you need to mute your end.
Sorry. It's muted now? Must be.
Sounds better. I can't hear myself echoing back. It's always a good thing. Hey, are you just wanting to show us a map?
No, I've got a
Got a-
presentation.
Okay.
Yeah,
So that's a different presentation to the one that Amy's got on.
it's the same presentation, but I need to be able to
Point.
point. Well, it's useful if I was able to point, is what I mean.
It's fine. I was just wondering if there was any way we could assist with this. There
Oh, no, it's all right. I think I've seen that. Tahi kei te mihi atu ki a poto. Tangira, ki a koe asa. Kia koe hoki te mea. Kia koe. Yeah, hami te whaisi te wimov. And I think just want to say, thank you to the council and for the staff that have assisted us through this process. I think we had an AGM about 2 or 3 years ago, Ngāti Hiniwaka, and that's so we, that's when this issue became particularly evident for us to deal with. So thank you all and for doing that. I think that in summary, I think the council needs to survey what's there, what's left. It's happened once before, back in the 1990s when this really, so it's not just happened today or this year or the last couple of years, been going on for 30 years when we started seeing that our land was needing protection. So, and we've had signs up, we've had all of that right through trespass, non-trespass signs. So I can't understand if people have been coming for 50 years and they missed those because, we've probably got images of that. So I think surveying it is really important to understand. And we know that, people talk as though there's a road all the way through the White Rock. There isn't. There probably never was. When this land was set aside and taken in the 1930s, the idea was that it could provide an alternate access around the coast. It could never happen. There's that big fan there, and now it's just not possible for vehicles to go really from one side to the other. And talking about putting some sort of connection in there, it's just crazy. There's just no way. People know that the fan is sitting in that right-hand corner there, and it's bigger than that. And so anyway, I've got some. I understand. I'm speaking on behalf of myself as a trustee of Mātakitaki a Kupe A1 and A2, which is the Lighthouse Reserve. I'm speaking on behalf of the trustees, which there are two of us, and Mātakitaki number 2, which is what people will refer to as, well, now the Stonewall block is actually on the other side of the Stonewall, but it's the Mātakitaki number 2. There's the two of us trustees, so I'm speaking on behalf of the trust, and I'm also speaking on behalf of Ngāti Hiniwaka. So we've done 2 submissions, and thank you for the opportunity for me to be able to join those submissions together today. I'll get on with it pretty quickly because I can see that so it's not all there. There it is. So this is just an explanation of what those land titles are. If you go all the way back here, I'm not sure if you can see. You can't. Well, you can see. That's Māori land as well. It's the land where people access to get to where the seal colony is. That's our land. That's a reserve. It's a reserve that was set aside as a fishing ground, but is also waihi tapu. And under the Marine Coastal Act, that's in all probability that status will be recognised as far as the coastal marine area is concerned. But that's an area where we share. We've allowed the public to go through. This is not about us not sharing. There's about people disrespecting what it is that we've allowed. I mean, nobody goes there with a GPS system and or a map and says, you know, the road goes this way. They all just follow what everybody else is doing, and that's what happens. And there, I've got another image which shows what that is. But if you see the hatched area, which is the trust that I am representing on the right, that's both a Māori reservation, and which was the same as a marae reservation. It's not a, it's been set aside. I've got a description of it, and it's also a QE2 covenant. And I've read the QE2 submission, and you know, I'll let that answer to the issues around the QE2 covenants. But the QE2 covenants were really, and there's the other 2 blocks on the left. They're also QE2 covenants. The one in behind the lighthouse is access comes round through around the side of the lighthouse land, and which is below it, and that's a reserve as well. So that's a Māori reserve because when the land was returned to us, it was recognised by the government that we had objected in the first. Our ancestors objected to the taking in the first place. We were prepared to lease it because it had burials on it. Nobody knows where those burials are, and in all likelihood, in what I, you know, and I hate to think that that's where it is, but most burials are found down by the sea, on those old land parcels, or the, you know, around this coast. There's a lot of burials that are found by the sea and eroded by the sea. So anyway, so that's there's a red area that goes around, which is where we fenced off, because the owners made the decision that they were going to there's no money to be earned off this land. We could have had a whole lot of stock walking over the whole thing, but they decided back in the 1990s that they wanted it fenced off and let their back area regenerate. That's what we did. That's what our kaitiakitanga is about. And seeing the land as it is undermining that. The idea that we don't want people walking over there, it's not like stock. Stock don't take any notice of all the ruts and everything else that's there. It's the fact that, you know, from our point of view, kaitiakitanga is not working because we don't have that control for it to happen. And so it's a mess. And I've got some of that mess here. So that's here's the Māori reservation. I'll read this out. This is to do with the lighthouse. This is be set aside as a Māori reservation for the purpose of the protection of wāhi tapu for the common use and benefit of those Ngāti Hiniwaka who are entitled as descendants of the original owners of Takitaki Akupere, number 1. Those are the same ones. So both A1 and A2 returned to us in 1993. Yeah. This is the area that I'm representing as the trust, the one that right at the end where the people refer to as the stone wall. It's the Waitatuma stream, not the stone wall stream, or that's where that stone wall is, I understand, but it confuses because there are actually not just that stone wall there, but there's actually stone rows in that same place which are historic features. So it's protecting wāhi tapu. This is that Māori reservation, protecting wāhi tapu, places of historical significance, soil protection against erosion, camping, cultural practices, kaya gathering, and a meeting place for owners and their descendants. This is the, actually what I should point out is the blue, as you know, the blue area on that coastal strip is the SASM, what's it called? Sites and areas of significance to Māori, which under the drafts, under the current draft, that's live, and that covers that whole coastal strip. Sorry.
1 minute left, Tommy.
Oh, 1 minute.
That's going to present two.
Is this 5 minutes? I thought I was going to be, I thought I was told that I could do.
So that's been 9 minutes so far, honey.
Oh, has it?
Yeah. Sorry, it goes very fast. You've got 1 minute.
Make it 3 minutes.
Sorry, we can't.
Right. I'll go through it. So that's the Heritage Reserve. It's the historic, classified as historic area, which has got a description in here, and it was done in 1994, and the council were informed of that. That's a historic area. That's the 1996. I don't know if anybody took any notice of that. Māori's cut off access. Later, truck was put across the road. Then we put a gate up and insisted on our rights that when the land was taken, there was a promise that the council would, if it was ever needed, it would be fenced. It's not our job to fence whatever is left of that paper road. It's the public want to be able to use that, and so long as people stay on the paper road, we're not trying to stop that, but they don't. They go all over.
I'm really sorry, honey. That is your
That's the fire.
10 minutes. I do appreciate that the minutes are fast, but we have to be fair and equitable.
I'm sorry. I've been timing myself.
Could you get you to send all what you've got through to
That's
us?
here. I'm leaving it for the.
So Amy has your presentation. And
Yeah.
We'll talk to you to make sure that we've got everything we need that we can send to committee members. Amy will do that with you after.
I knew I needed a half an hour. I'm sorry.
Thank you for your presentation and thank you for your time.
Yeah, okay.
Stay with us. I know you will, but
Thank you.
we must move on.
Thanks, honey.
Yeah.
Thanks, honey.
Not the time manager.
Time goes fast.
Our next speaker is Memory. Memory, it's a fire text. Submission 622.
No, no, you can
Oh, page 67.
Oh, well, they're going to get it anyway, so I'm not. I said enough.
We are inviting next speakers pack number 65, submissions number 622. So well memory. So like everyone, you will have 5 minutes to present to us. Amy will give you a wave at minute 4. And if you can, take about 4 minutes, that will allow us to ask you questions at the end. Your time starts when you're ready.
I just got a question before my time starts. Did his time start when he was trying to connect to the?
No, didn't start till he started.
Right. Kia mai tātou, ki tā mātou whānau I noho ki nei, hi atu kia rātou. So I'm just gonna been sitting here listening to the kōrero. People talk about intergenerational access. We've been here, like Uncle Darcy said, since Kupe. You know, if we want to talk about intergenerational access, but we haven't had access to a lot of our whenua. You know, it's a lot of entitlement that I can hear. Talk about landowners and control. We don't want control, like Uncle Hami said. It was never about control, and we're not landowners. We are the land. We are the whenua. We whakapapa to it and from it. So it's not about ownership. To me, it's about that's who we are. Boundaries of paper roads. There should be a boundary, like Uncle Hami says. They're not going on the paper road. They're going everywhere other than the paper road. And what I've heard today is because you have to access these campgrounds going onto our land, that's trespassing. That's trespassing on our whenua. And so to me, if I was going to go drive my 4-wheel drive through their house, what are they going to say to me? They're going to say, you're trespassing. It's the same for us. Who are the stakeholders? Why do we have to talk to stakeholders? This is ours. This is our whenua. I mean, with other, you know, this whole process, yes, I appreciate it, but it's put our stuff out to the world. Why should our stuff be any concern of anybody else's but our own? So we are the stakeholder. There's only one, it's us. Multi-pronged approach. I'm just listening, talking about the things that I listen to people say, multi-pronged approach. There is no such thing unless you're coming to mana whenua to ask, to have a conversation.
How long has he got?
You've still got about 3 minutes.
3 minutes. You want to give me 3?
Yeah, go.
One thing actually,
She's. We can't do that. It's your 5 minutes and
If you're just cutting into my 5 minutes.
no, that's all right. No, it's okay.
What do we just?
Gonna say that, Miss?
Okay, yeah.
memory.
Well, no, that's okay.
Okay. Diving access. I heard that today too. Diving access. There's plenty more coastline to dive. You don't have to dive around there. You know, we don't even hardly even dive around there if we don't have to. And I'm thinking about the poor little girl that came up and talked about her camping experiences out there, who trespassed on our whenua to get there. That's all entitlement. My kids, I have a 4-wheel drive. I can't drive out there because of the damage that those people have done to our whenua. You can't even get, you know, you have to have a pretty wrecked truck to get yourself out there, or one of those big expensive 4-wheel drives that, you know, that the wheels don't go this way. So that's entitlement. So if I can't even get my kids out there, why should they be able to go out there and cross over our whenua without even us having a say in that? That's it.
Councillors, any questions for memory in the last minute? Please?
I think they should ask Uncle Honey.
Councillor Evans.
Thanks, Deputy Mayor. Thanks, Memory, for coming and speaking. Earlier on, you mentioned that there should be a boundary. between the Whenua and the paper road. If there was an option or a possibility or as a solution, would you be happy for paper road to be fenced to keep the separation from the Whenua and to protect the Whenua from people using the paper road?
Well, I think Uncle Harney said that there needs to be a survey done, because I'm thinking that through erosion, the paper road goes into the ocean. So I'm happy with that, as long as the road goes into the ocean, and that's as far as it can go. So if you want to fence off the road going into the ocean, I'm all good with that.
Thank you. Any final questions? No, thank you, Memory. Thank you, Harmy. I just want to acknowledge that hearings are an incredibly formal process. There are very clear rules and processes around them, which is why I keep reminding my councillors around open mind, questions of clarification, not entering debate, etc. It's because this is a very formal process, and whilst it seems like we should maybe give extra or things like that, we just can't. It must be the same rules for everyone. So,
Minister, on the hearing, who all the hearing commissioners are in Wairakei, you'll find my name. So I understand exactly.
Just before I go into there, I'd just like to say, if Harmy got up first and spoke about the situation out there, there would have been a whole lot more clarity in the people that's going to stand up after him. Because he is out on Intera, he is our leader out there, and you should have given him his chance to speak on our behalf.
as we say, we are only able to give everybody 5 minutes. It's just the process.
He's not everybody, he's out on Intera.
So we are moving now to Ange van der Laan. Hopefully I've said that right. Yeah. Sorry, I thought you were online, which is why I was looking over my shoulder, but you were clearly here. Sorry, I do just need you to take a seat at the table because you're presenting to us.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I will speak to the audiences.
No, sorry, I need you to take a seat and speak to us.
Number of sheep.
Sorry, before you start, Ange, we are looking at speakers pack number 6. Full submission 3454. Yeah, sorry, 66.
It's just 66, that's the number, okay, yeah, thanks, yeah, okay. What number? 66. 66. Page 6, page, oh, well, that's not page.
454.
Oh, David Vance. Sorry.
So this is a submission on behalf of the New Zealand Outdoor Access Commission.
So it's under a different name than ours. Oh, yeah, under, David Barnes, yeah. David Barnes is what you're looking for.
Sorry, David Barnes is on leave.
Ange, when you're ready.
And make sure you talk to us, please. And
The acoustics in this room are terrible. If you face that way, we honestly can't.
must talk to us, we're the ones who are listening.
It won't record.
Ati ene waka, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou. Ko Ange van der Laan toku ingoa. E kai tohu tohu arohe ahau mō Herenga Nuku Aotearoa, the Outdoor Access Commission. Ngā mihi for the opportunity to kōrero on this important access matter. Acknowledgement to Council for walking alongside Ngāti Hiniwaka and seeking a remedy for disrespectful behaviour and resulting environmental damage. For context, Herenga Anuku is the Crown agent responsible for providing leadership on outdoor access issues. We work with central and local government agencies, iwi, hapu, organisations and community groups to create public access opportunities that support healthy and prosperous communities. We begin by acknowledging the mana whenua of Ngāti Hine Waka over this whenua and the historic wrongs of the Crown as recognised in Waitangi Tribunal Claim Y959 and subsequent treaty settlement. We also acknowledge the patience and generosity of Ngāti Hine Waka in allowing public access to their whenua over many decades. We recognise too that some visitors have behaved disrespectfully, causing damage to fragile coastal lands that are deeply connected to your identity, your stories, and your people. The road at the centre of this hearing is an unformed legal road, often referred to as paper roads. These were sometimes surveyed without regard to the land's topography and remain visible only on maps. That is not the case here. This road was formally legalised under the Public Works Act in 1934, meaning it was consciously established as a legal road. Rightly or wrongly, this legal road exists on the whenua today. Roads remain a central part of Aotearoa's public access framework, and an important part of our role is in ensuring they remain unobstructed and available for responsible public use. They are clearly indicated on our mapping system so the public can see them. This road provides enjoyment for many responsible recreational users. Unfortunately, a minority of vehicle users have caused serious damage to both the road and adjoining private land. For this reason, the council is now seeking to prohibit all members of the public from using this road and enjoying the whenua. The council has two choices. Section 22AB of the Land Transport Act authorises councils to make specific bylaws restricting the use of motor vehicles on unformed legal roads, or council can apply to permanently stop the road under the Local Government Act. As stated in our written submission, the Commission is of the view that creating a bylaw under the Land Transport Act prohibiting all public access is legally invalid as it goes beyond the permissible limits of a bylaw. Yet, legal precedent shows that permanently stopping the road under the Local Government Act is likely to be unacceptable to the Environment Court, given the clear recreation access demand. We commend Council for listening to mana whenua and attempting to find a solution to the environmental damage caused by some vehicle users. But in doing so, it has neglected to consider the keen interest and well-being of other recreational users and visitors. Herenga Anuku opposes the bylaw as proposed. We support a middle ground that restricts vehicle access but allows cycling and walking. Vehicle access by permit could be an option. We are keen to engage with mana whenua and council on ways to provide the community with the recreational opportunities it seeks and values, while enabling the whenua to heal. We do not believe these to be mutually exclusive. Indeed, we believe this process will be a call to action for recreational users and community who value the whenua and want to protect it. Finally, we are aware of allegations that there are landowners in the district obstructing roads and charging for access. This is unlawful and we call on the council to address these issues. Ngā mihi nui for your time and consideration to that.
Thank you. That was perfectly 5 minutes. We do not have time for further questions, but we thank you for your time. David Larking. Sorry. David, please join us now. I'm not sure if you were doing an intro, but you have 5 minutes. We will give you a wave at 4 so you know that you're coming to the end of your time. If you can speak for about 4 minutes, that gives councillors a chance for questions, but the time is yours and question time and presentation time. One.
Rāwiri te ngāru ahau, o te whakatōhia tōku iwi, o te whanganui a tāra tōku kāinga. O kai whakahaere ahau, o te whānau eki ngāru o te upoko o tika. Tēnā koutou ka mai. I am David Laking, aka Dave the Wave. I am the president of the Wellington Board Riders Club. We represent roughly 6,000 surfers in the Wellington region, from Otaki to Casa Point and south to Matakitaki, Kupe. Before I state our case, I'd like to acknowledge a few things. We acknowledge Ngāti Hiniwaka as mana whenua and kaitiaki of Matakitaki Kupe. We affirm under Article 2 of Te Tiriti o Waitangi the tino rangatiratanga of Ngāti Hiniwaka over Matakitaki Kupe, as affirmed as part of their ancestral land in Taonga. We acknowledge that some of the behaviour of the general public on and around the legal road has been deeply disrespectful to mana whenua. We can see why they want the road closed. Okay, but why is this access important to us as surfers? To be clear, we just want to be able to get between Ngāwi and Ngāpotiki. The common scenario for us is to be surfing at Ningnong near Ngāwi when the wind changes and it's no good. From there, it's either a short drive and a longish and highly scenic walk to Ngāpotiki. The alternative is a nearly 2.5 hour drive via Martinborough to White Rock, then a half-hour walk once you get to the lock gate there. For us, it's about a bigger picture. It's about access to coastal locations around this country. Gradually, but inexorably, they are being restricted. For us, it feels like a weight bearing down on us. It feels suffocating. It's almost always the same story. A small number of careless, thoughtless, and inconsiderate individuals ruin it for the rest of us. In some cases, after some negotiation, a compromise is able to be really reached. In other cases, the nuclear option is chosen and access is cut off completely and permanently. Now, I know there are various legal arguments relating to the issue. I'm sure others will cover these better than I can. This is what I have to say. I referenced the Treaty Waitangi earlier. Although possibly not directly stated in its articles, I believe it represents a partnership in good faith between two peoples. Now, obviously, that good faith was shamefully abused by the Crown and still is being abused in many ways. However, with this in mind, we respectfully ask mana whenua that public access be maintained around Matakitaki Kupe. To help us get to this point, what if all the people involved were able to sit down together and figure out a long-term solution that keeps everyone happy? I see a great opportunity here. Could mana whenua be assisted in their kaitiakitanga in some way? Could the mana of everyone involved be increased? Kia ora.
Oh, we've got time for questions, which is fantastic. Councillors, any questions for David, please?
Very good presentation.
Thank you, Councillor Maynard.
So just for clarification there, you're saying that actually surfers don't mind if they have to walk because we've heard that surfers need to take their vehicles, but actually you're saying it from there, surfers don't mind doing a bit of walking to go, Tim.
Probably prefer to be able to drive some of the way, but if it really came to it, out of respect for the whenua and mana whenua, we'd probably be happy just to walk.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Any final questions for David? No. Thank you, David. Thank you for your time today and for your written submissions. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
Jacob, are you with us? Jacob Steinmetz. Brian Haverton. And Graham we have online. So Graham, if you could please turn your camera on and unmute yourself, that would be fantastic. I'm pretty sure you've been with us for some time, so I think you've heard all of my spiel about what you need to do.
And about your back.
And about my back.
Can you hear me there?
We can hear you, but we can't see you yet, Graham.
I see. I found a.
Councillors, Graham is submission 2231, page 2273, or speakers pack 75.
Right, are you ready?
Oh, we still can't see you, Graham.
Oh, I can see me.
It's a good start.
Perhaps we'll have to do this a little bit blind if you still
Okay.
can't see me.
No, that's fine. If we're having some technical difficulties, you move ahead, that's fine. When you're ready, Graham.
Oops, I've hidden myself again. Righto. So thank you very much for this opportunity to speak to you. Thank you very much to Hemi Te Whaiti and to the Ngāti Hini Waka. That information that you provided really changes my perspective, because as you can see in my submission, I was concerned to know who the landowners were and whether they were mana whenua or whether they were regular commercial farmers, because my attitude's quite different in each case, and I would modify my submission accordingly. I enjoy going to the coast. I'm down here in Otapoti, Dunedin, and I'm active in encouraging more walking access along our local coastlines and in negotiating with the local owners and mana whenua. And it's one of the great joys of New Zealand is our coastal environment. Helen Clark recognised it when she was Minister of Conservation way back in 1989. She said, forget about the mountains, it's people want to go to the beach, they want to go to the coast. And although she's an active mountaineer, as me as a worker in dock at the time, it was a good redirection of attention. And this, of course, is a coastal issue. And when I came to your district last year, I really enjoyed visiting that part of the coast. It was a great day out. So I'd like to see public access there, but seeing that the mana whenua have had so many concerns, I think that I would need to go and ask them for access there. I've observed a great increase in four-wheel drive use in our Otago Mountains and the great amount of damage that they're doing to existing tracks that were only used a few times a year by the farmers and are now overused and can't sustain the pressure. And so I can appreciate why this issue is in front of the council, and I do recommend that vehicle access be closed. I think that's enough to say. My submission was quite straightforward. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Graham. Any questions from councillors for Graham this afternoon, please? Councillor Maynard.
So, thank you very much, Graham. So your submission after hearing from mana whenua, just to clarify, is still very similar to what you have given us, but just wanting to stress more about the restriction of vehicular, well, I can't say it, vehicular access. Is that right?
Yeah, and really it is up to the mana whenua to have a significant say in the outcome of this hearing. I hope that there'll be walking access. I'd enjoy biking access, but I think vehicles are too heavy on the land, just like I think cattle are too heavy on the land as well.
Thank you.
Fabulous. Thank you, Graham. I don't see any other questions for you from councillors today. So I thank you for your time, both today and in writing your submission. You are, of course, welcome to stay with us and watch further presentations, but we just ask that you mute yourself again. Thank you. Maybe we are running ahead of time. We've finished this block. I'm aware you did some phone calls. I can see already. We have William Joe. Yeah, I was going to say if I can see Bill is here and in the room. Bill, you are here early. We are ahead of time. Are you happy to present early? Wonderful. If you'd like to come forward. While you're getting yourself organised, I will just do a few reminders as I have been doing through the day. One is please make sure that your cell phone or devices are on silent. So please do check those. Again, a reminder that councillors are here today to hear your submissions with an open mind, that we are here to take into account all written and oral submissions when it comes to deliberations. We are here to listen to you and can only ask questions to clarify or look for something rational on particular points. hearings are not an opportunity for elected members to comment on submissions, engage in debate, offer solutions, or indicate their support or otherwise for any submitter. Each submitter has 5 minutes to present, and we do suggest that they use 3 to 4 minutes of their time for presentations, allowing time for questions or clarification. We have had a number of people not come today, as we have had a bit of a reshuffle of the afternoon. So I thank those that have accepted our call to come early so that we can continue moving through our hearings. William Jago's submission is 696, online packet 3, page 706, speakers pack 76. When you're ready, Bill.
Thank you. My submission is totally legal that I got from a lawyer. At no point in your 7-page paper road access bylaw document do you clearly define what legislation or inherent power enables you to create this bylaw. You refer point 2 to bylaws being made by councils under national legislation. You go on to refer to reasons bylaws are created: protecting public nuisance, protecting public health, minimising potential offensive behaviour in public places. From this, and given that it is word for word from the Local Government Act 2002, it appears you seek to rely on Section 145 of the 2002 Act. This is a general bylaw of making ability. Under Section 146, there are specific laws. Making ability, specifically 146, allows making of bylaws for managing of land under control of territorial authority to protect against damage, misuse or loss. These powers are all couched in terms of public good and public places. Nothing in your rationale speaks to those terms. In fact, the preface to your bylaw specifically sets out the rationale as being to protect private property rights of a single landowner. This is counter to the purpose of the ability to make bylaws. This is a misuse of council power and untenable position for council states. The council has already spent thousands of dollars and proposes spending thousands more pursuing something which is a private property right. This is not council's obligation. It is the right of the private property owner. The ratepayer should not have to fit this bill. It is an unusual use of ratepayer money. In the bylaw document at point 7, there is a mention of health and safety consideration. These seem to be inserted to try and give some legitimacy to council's intended action. None of the safety concerns mentioned have been backed up by any empirical data to show that there are real concerns. The concerns are the private landowner in regard to private land. They do not relate to public land. The bylaw creating power under Section 22AB of the Land Transport Act 1998, specifically designed for use over roads, has not been used by the council. Why? Because those specific powers limit the council powers to restricting motor vehicle use alone. The powers do not extend to prohibiting access. This further strengthens the views that the council is acting ultra vires, using public ratepayers' money to benefit a private landowner. The council has powers under Section 353 of the Local Government Act 1974 to require the neighbouring landowner to enclose that land by sufficient fence. The council could use this power to address the landowner's concern to trespass. This would address the concerns raised, come at no cost to the ratepayer, and maintain public access right. As per guidelines, the management of the unformed legal roads, Local Government Acts 2002 and 1994 are to help councils place wider interests of the public ahead of private interests. Judge Blanchard in the Man of War case, famous case, stated the public right to use roads will be given a measure of priority when it comes in conflict with private claims. What the council intends to do is not available to them for the facts as they stand. Council's position is untenable. You're wasting our money. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Well, any questions for Bill on his submission? No, have you made yourself quite clear. There are no clarifying questions. So thank you for your submission. Thank you for your time today, and thank you for agreeing to come in early for us.
Cool, thank you.
Leave Megan, that you in the room, Megan Gillies. I just.
They need to be.
Yeah, we just need to make sure that we've got respect in our crowd for everyone as well, please.
What number is Megan?
So Megan is submission 3518, email submission page 4586, and speaking pack number 80. Megan again has come in early, so we will find through this section we're going a bit of jumping around. So thank you again for being here early. You have 5 minutes to speak to us.
Right, thank you very much for allowing me to speak today. So the road past the lighthouse is an extremely important access road to me, as it is a road to my soul place, the stone wall. As a child, I grew up waiting on the rocks far along the road with my siblings and my mother as my dad gathered seafood, which was much needed food for our large family of 7. And as I grew older, it was where my father taught me to dive and gather food myself. We would never have been able to walk all that way, carrying our dive gear, our siblings, our young babies, walk back with what we'd actually managed to gather for our family. The Stonewall Creek and waterfall is a very important and special place for me and my children. For over 20 years, I've been living and working in some of the most challenging and stressful countries in the world, the Philippines, Malaysia, India, and Thailand. And when at times the masses of people, population, pollution, and corruption got too much, I knew I could just close my eyes and think of the Stonewall. The babbling of the creek on one side, the roar of the sea on the other, and the wonderful smells of both. I'd instantly decant. As you can see, I'm very emotional about this. It was an annual pilgrimage for me, and then also my children, to the Stonewall, borrowing someone's 4x4 or quad to get access, which I was most appreciative of, my children being far too young to walk all that way. I feel a strong spiritual connection to the place, and so do my kids. Yes, this national treasure of ours here in New Zealand should be protected, cherished, and looked after, and we should be respecting the whenua as is right, but not through closing access to all indiscriminately as this bypass bylaw is proposing. Which leads me, actually, I was sitting here in front of you councillors, and I have to say I'm quite shocked. I read your job descriptions, I read how you got elected, I read what you said in your statements about standing up for us. And I really feel quite sad because I feel that you're acting outside of the law. I'm not a lawyer, I don't have the law like my father's just spoken about. As public elected councillors, your job is to represent, to be the advocate for the interests of the people in this district. And I think you've done a dismaying job. You made a declaration at the time. You're elected to perform your duties faithfully and impartially to the best interests of the district. I think you're in breach of that declaration you made. And if you're on a performance plan, I think you would have got to fail. Not many different interests and people right across the district has been represented in this bylaw. As a ratepayer, I'm entitled to expect you to stand by what you said. I looked at your profiles. A lot of you said that you want to be voted because you're a proactive advocate for all residents, to listen to community concerns and solve local issues with local solutions. You have not. And proven by these documents that have been come out from the OIA process, I think you should be ashamed of. I certainly am ashamed. I'm ashamed of the council, and I think there's a stain that is going to last a long time. I'd just like to leave you with a comment from our icon, Alan Martin, from LV Martin. It's not right. If it's not right, well, put it right. And it's the putting right that counts. So I really would like to ask you to stop, or at least pause this proposed bylaw and start again with proper engagement, put it all, and everyone sitting down, interested parties across who all use this road, and listen to us all, come to a solution together. Thank you. Questions?
Mr. Mayor, we've got 1 minute for questions.
Okay, I'll ask it very quickly. Megan, I don't believe you can get to the stone wall without trespassing on private property. What route do you use to get there?
On the road that's formed today.
Okay, so that road is not a legal road once it goes into the sea. You do know that?
So just ask questions and clarification, just questions and clarifications. Thank you.
I said I don't know, but I enjoyed going there and I'd like to have access for me and all my whānau to go as well.
Very much.
You could ask.
So we're just checking notes, otherwise we may go to a break.
There's some other people here that come earlier than 2:30, so. That's okay.
Okay, so what we're going to do is, sorry, just before we do it, can I just ask, is there anyone currently here that is in the 2:30 block? No, okay, so we're going to take an adjournment at this point. We are going to.
Furling's here, he's obviously come early.
Sorry.
Furling's here, he's been asked to come early, obviously, so he's right here, ready to go.
Just ask if he was.
No, he's in the 3 o'clock block.
Okay, sorry. I'll rephrase my question. Is there anyone currently here who is in a later block that would like to speak now? Perfect.
Sorry.
You'd like to, sorry, can I just, was it Mark?
Mark Turing.
Mark Turing. So for the councillors, that is submission number 1171, online packet 4, page 1185. Speakers back 90. Now you did hear all of my talk about 5 minutes, so I know you're well versed. So you start when you're ready, and Amy will give you a wave at 4 minutes so that you know that you're coming to the end of your time.
Thank you. Right, I'm sympathetic to the landowners whose property is situated next to the road. They have had to deal with damage and trespass over their land due to having some motorists with no regard to their land leave the public road to find more accessible means to navigate on or near the roadway. However, council is proposing to resolve this in a way that is not in keeping with the law of New Zealand. To quote the Court of Appeal, the right of passage over road is one possessed by the public, not local authority. All of this is neatly summed up in Roads, Water Margins and Riverbeds, the Law on Public Access by Brian E. Hayes, Register General of the Land from 1980 to 1996. And I quote, "The public cannot release rights once acquired by them, nor no authority can bind them in purporting to release such rights, and there is no extinctive presumption or prescription arising from non-exercise thereof. And when a road has been made or has become a public road, the right of the public to use it as a public road continues forever, unless it has been legally stopped by process of law, for once a highway, always a highway." Some history. This road is not a dead-end road, as it is referred to in the council's proposed bylaw documentation. It is part of the coast road, which has been in existence as a bridle path since at least the late 1800s. It was first referred to as a road in 1916, when the chief surveyor noted that it was previously a bridle track on which public funding had been expended, and it had been in use by the public for many years. It was promulgated a public road in 1934 from a Survey Office Plan number 19090, dated the 30th of January 1930. Most of it can be driven with a suitable vehicle. Guidelines for the management of unformed legal roads by local government New Zealand states, quote, "Unformed legal roads are a treasure, and the national and regional economic development opportunities they provide cannot be overstated," unquote. Road is used by all manner of users, and there's no alternative roads to this coast road. It's used by cyclists, walkers, and of course four-wheel drive owners, most of them responsible and law-abiding citizens. It provides for views of unique landforms that are of geological and historical significance. Council staff, in their attempts to appease a local landowner, appears to have forgotten their obligations to the real owners of this road, namely the public. There are 2 clauses in Schedule 10 in terms of the Local Government Act. Council may rely on to temporarily close a road. It's clear that temporary means a limited time. I don't believe 3 years is temporary as envisioned by the Act. Per the schedule, Clause 11D may marginally be applied,
but there are no other roads to divert traffic to. So that leaves only clause 13. Clause 13 of Schedule 10 can limit only motor vehicles. Cyclists or pedestrians cannot be prevented from using the road. Legally, council is on shaky ground. In judgment in Lower Hutt City Council versus Attorney General, the President of the Court of Appeal said, there may well be other difficulties, particularly the provision of Section 168 of the Municipal Corporations Act, which provides, nothing in this act shall entitle the council to create a nuisance or shall deprive any person of any rights remedy he would otherwise have against the corporation or any other person in respect of any such nuisance. Further, in delivering the judgment of the Court of Appeal in Manor War Station versus Auckland City Council in 2000, Blanchard J. said, until 1 January 1973, all land becoming road was vested in the Crown, Section 111 of the Public Works Act of 1928. From that date, with certain exceptions of no present relevance, roads were vested in fee simple on the local authority under Section 191A of the Counties Act 1955, and from 1 April 1997 under Section 316 of the Local Government Act 1974. Despite the vesting in the local authority, the right of passage over a road is one possessed by the public, not by the local authority, which holds its title and exercises its power in relation to a road as upon a trust for public purpose, end quote. More recently, in Avid versus Police, High Court Fogarty J had to deal with the question of trespass on a road by property owners of land adjoining an unformed road and said, neither the council as a statutory owner of the road nor the adjoining owner as a de facto occupier may exclude anyone else from using the road.
Sorry to interrupt you, Mark, but that is your 5 minutes time. It goes very fast, I am aware, so thank you for your time today. Thank you for your submission. You have left us with food for thought. Unfortunately, no time for questions.
Sorry?
Stuff, you've got maps there, can you email those through?
I can do.
Leave them with us.
Just leave them with you? Okay, thank
And I'll leave you with a copy of my.
Yeah, okay, thanks so much, that's great.
Thank you. All right.
Anyone else here? Is there anyone else here from? Next.
Sorry, we're just checking to see if Martina is in the room. Martina, if you are, yeah, fantastic. So if you'd like to join us, that would be wonderful.
Yeah. Is she representing or? Oh.
Tina Day. Sorry, can I just have some quiet in the room, please? Councillors, Martina's submission is 1680, online packet 5, page 1709. Speakers pack 106. Now, Martina was in the 330 pack, so if you've taken notes in order time, you're going to need to scroll to the end of your note pack. Just give councillors a moment and then on to if you could give me a nod when you're.
Yeah, I'm all set.
Fantastic, Martina, when you're ready. So Amy will give you more.
My name's Martina Day and I'm opposing this proposed bylaw. We are facing a proposal from Hapu led by a skilled negotiator. He with others have achieved significant settlement in 22, achieving assets, cash and cultural redress. This leader is now proposing an unorthodox claim on a legal road which will entitle Ngāti Hinawaka Hapu to sole access rights, citing damage to the land and cultural sites as the reason. Although they are kaitiaki, they state they have taken no action to prevent damage and violation over many years. It seems the time for settling this is now, while the current council is receptive to the proposal. Landowners along this entire coast have a formed legal road through their property, which they have fenced effectively. It does not interfere with their business, their privacy, their enjoyment of their land, and their equally sacred sites. Ngāti Hinawaka Hapu are happy to use this formed fenced road through other landowners, other Hapu land to access their own land, and yet feel entitled to block the road from the lighthouse boundary onwards.
despite the fact there is publicly owned land behind this land, despite the fact this was once a major route between Tone and Ahuriri, and who knows when we may need that access again. Despite the fact there may be a need for legal access for future emergencies and national security. And all the while happy to allow government agencies, emergency services when required, and long-term grazing leases to operate on this land. The concerns of protection of sites of significance, endangered flora and fauna, and privacy concerns are at odds with the long-term grazing of stock on this land and Hami's publicly acknowledged aspirations of tourism. There are also concerns at not all of the hapu have been consulted. One I spoke to said, "We are not asked, it's no good, it's especially bad for locals." The South Waipa District Council is in a difficult position. To do nothing is not acceptable as a treaty partner, but their conduct over this proposal has damaged their reputation. Why are the council allowing Ngāti Hinewaka to dictate the terms? Can the council tell me why in December 24, they acknowledged it was of critical importance to retain the legal road for emergencies, but are now willing to surrender access through this land? Can they tell me how the public can access publicly owned land? The suggested alternatives are not viable. How all the other councils in New Zealand with some similar situation reach outcomes which do not propose a complete ban, and yet South Waipa District Council are proposing an illegal action without taking legal advice, all the while ignoring the outpouring of public opposition. The positive suggestions, the support from everyone, and the ideas are many, and yet to date, Ngāti Hinewaka have rejected them. The sacred whenua needs protection and care. It is time to step up and provide the means whereby it can heal. Prevent the small group of repeat offenders, fence the land to allow respectful people to access the coast, the Aorangi Forest Park, the beauty of the stone wall and the waterfalls. I feel for the land to heal and be alive, this is needed, and thus allowing Ngāti Hinewaka quiet enjoyment, privacy and healing of their whenua. Once access is lost, I feel it will be lost forever.
Okay, so we've got time for questions. Thank you, councillors. Any questions for Martina? No, thank you very much for your time, and thank you again for both the written and the verbal speaking coming in, very much appreciated.
Yep.
So we're going to take a 15-minute adjournment and return for the balance of submissions. Sorry, one second. Sorry, Brian is here. That Brian co-focus, yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay, cool. Yep, that's right.
We'll go adjournment, we'll begin at 2:40.
Okay.